So we have a company up called Sweep. We have Jackson Gates with us. Jackson.
Hi, I'm Jackson Gates, CEO and co-founder of Sweep, which is a new mobile app that helps you get ahead of your bills, expenses, and savings goals so you never have to budget again. Consumers in America are struggling to save, and budgeting has failed them for two fundamental reasons. Number one, spending categories are difficult to set up and tedious to maintain. And number two, these categories break from one month to the next because the categories of spending aren't uniform. Food, clothing, entertainment, gas, these aren't monthly categories. So this doesn't work. And if you look at budgeting apps like Mint, you'll see that they're only backwards looking. They only tell you where your money went. And this doesn't work for consumers. What we do in contrast at Sweep is look forward and give you a full, complete look into your future cash flows so that you always have enough money for everything that you need and want. And this is what consumers really want. They want to know that their money needs are taken care of in advance so that they can spend the rest of their money confidently and worry-free. We do this with a bucket-based budgeting metaphor. You create custom savings buckets for everything that you may need. Some of our most popular buckets at Sweep that Sweep savers are using are emergency funds, vacations, new cars, new homes, holiday shopping, healthcare. These are the types of things that people are planning for in advance and savings for. And we allow you to create these buckets on top of your existing bank accounts. So your money is always in your control and in your name. And then here's where the magic is. We also set up custom savings rules for you so you can automatically achieve these goals. We set up ACH transfers to move money from your primary checking account into your savings account so that you can fill your buckets automatically as you get paid. And we support over 20,000 US banks, credit unions, and financial institutions. Here are a few beautiful screenshots from the app. I'll focus on the home screen. You see that my custom savings buckets are already set up for bills, credit cards, a car, an emergency fund. And then this number in green here, the $700, this is the amount of money that I can spend free, confidently, and worry-free. If I was a little bit behind, this would be blue and then yellow and then red to give me an indication of where I might fall into trouble. The app is 100% free to consumers. We will make money by connecting merchants and lenders with you so that you can achieve your goals faster. We have a four-person team, actually five. New iOS developer started on Monday. My background, myself and Asi, we come from Pandora, where I was VP of Business Development. Asi was head of mobile product and user experience. Naveen and Matthew come from Clout, and we've raised the seed round from great investors who have supported us from the beginning, including Caper Capital, Vulcan Capital, a group called the Valley Fund out of Stanford, Andy Ratcliffe, and Stanford StartX. We released the app to the App Store less than 3 months ago and are already receiving fantastic reviews, engagement, good traction, and we'd love you to check it out. Search for it in the App Store. You can find us under Sweep. If you search in budget, we come up number 6 for the term budget. And give it a shout, give it a try, and let us know what you think. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Jackson. Judges?
I haven't personally looked at the company, but I know there is a company called Acorns. I think it's called Acorns. The squirrel reminded me of you squirrels, acorns, etc. By the way, great presentation and very, I think, useful, valuable product in general. How do you kind of see the competitive landscape? Where do you guys fit in? How are you going about acquiring customers?
Yeah. In our Acorns investing product based here in LA, I think they've done a great job with a few things. We're on the other side of the spectrum. We really think about day-to-day spending, cash flow, and savings. In our space, the only player to really establish themselves has been Mint. And it's been remarkable because since the company was acquired by Intuit, they really have failed to innovate. And they've tried to build, and other people I think who've tried in the space have tried to build like a different version of Mint that's still backwards looking and focused on these like categories of spending. And we think that's the completely wrong approach. Like trying to figure out how much you should spend on clothing every month doesn't make any sense because if you take your kids for back to school shopping in August, like that will break your budget immediately. So that's why we only focus on forward-looking cash flows.
Can you give us a little more details on the traction, how many downloads, engagement levels?
It's a great, obviously, it's an obvious question.
Yeah, right.
I can't disclose like the numbers publicly. We've only been available for 90 days, but you can go in the App Store and read the reviews. Okay. I mean, if you're interested after the competition, I can walk you through the funnel.
Wait a minute, there's plenty of analytics solutions we can look at to get your download count, so come on.
Well, I'm sure there's an investor in App Annie here somewhere in the room, and you can log on to App Annie, maybe get a free account.
But more importantly, have you actually seen or done studies with your current users that it's actually saving them money? And if so, what are some of those results? Are they seeing actual savings, and what does that look like?
That's a really good question. So we do have, so we connect your bank accounts with Intuit's CAD API. We do have debits and credits, and we do have your account balances, and we also see the progress that you're making towards your buckets. We've only been live for 90 days, so we don't have enough data to say like over a 6-month or year-long period, are your savings actually going up? So that's a tough question to answer. The other thing is, I don't place judgment on use of money. So as like account balances grow and then money's pulled out for a funeral, a medical bill, like who am I to judge like if that's like a worthwhile use of funds? What I can see is, are you growing your emergency fund? Like, are you saving up in advance for your property taxes, right? And then paying those taxes, right? Are you saving up in advance for your child's tuition, right? Are you saving up in advance to go back to nursing school? These are the types of things that we really track.
Well, I can vouch Jackson was a real star at Pandora, and it's great to see your focus on the consumer and all the progress you've been making on it. What are you learning in launch about your users, and how's that shifting where your product is going?
Yeah, so we were really curious to see what types of people would start to use this, because we think about psychographics and not demographics. Like, what is the trigger point that gets somebody to take control of their savings and start to really think about this proactively? And what we found is about half of our users have enough money. Like, as they set up these buckets and allocate funds, they have extra money left over, and about half have some catching up to do. And we're really focused on this second half of people who are short, and helping them understand like exactly how much more they need to save, right? Which is the opposite coin of like how much less they need to spend so that they can get ahead, right? Consumers have this feeling across all different income levels of like something always comes up that puts them behind. Like, they just can't catch up. They feel like they can never get ahead. And so that's what we're trying to do, like help people have a perfect view so that they actually can finally feel like they're ahead of these bills, these expenses, right?
And how about integrating with bill pay? How important is that, and where does that sit?
So it's a really good question. I think bill pay is an enormous opportunity, which I care very much about and have thought a lot about bill pay. It's really, really hard. I think it would be somewhat of a leap. Like, I don't see us doing bill pay for the next year, but something I would want to move into if somebody doesn't tackle bill pay before.
And the thing that worries me in all this is, so as a European who's got used to electronic banking and now coming here where there's tons of friction in the banking process, the friction in setting this up and the friction ensuring that you capture every piece of spending. I've got multiple credit cards, multiple shop cards, multiple ways of spending money. And if it misses a bit, it immediately loses value for me. So how do you take all the friction out and then keep that friction out and keep the customer engaged?
So I've met with a number of European banks who want me to take this to Europe, but I can't because there are European laws that don't allow me to connect to your banks with your login credentials and pull in your debits and credits. But here in the US, we can do that, and so I can easily connect to every single credit card that you have, to all of your different savings accounts, to your banking accounts, to your money market accounts, right? To help you then organize these funds. So I have a perfect view into your finances there. But it doesn't exist in Europe. I think it's 2018. That may change.
How much in total have you guys raised, and what are you thinking about in terms of future?
We raised a $1 million seed round, and we have about a year's worth of runway right now.
So is there, I feel like for most mobile applications now, it's pretty much a paid acquisition game. You have to, there's very little virality, if you will. So, and now the cost of paid acquisition is going up dramatically with all the gaming companies and whatever they're spending lots of money on AppLovin and whatever to acquire customers. Is there enough money in the arbitrage? So in the LTV calculation for you, where you're essentially referring people to other financial providers, one, is it a misalignment of interest to offer someone a high interest credit card in exchange for the largest VIG because that's how you make the most money, because that's sort of a misalignment of interest with your actual vision? And two, is there enough fucking money there?
So that's one of the reasons I think Mint has destroyed itself, trying to offer you a better deal on your car insurance, like a high interest credit card. We have no interest in doing this. We really want to connect you with merchants and lenders who will help you get to your goal faster. So if you are saving up for nursing school, I can deliver a consumer who both has high intent and high ability, right? So that's a very valuable consumer. So that's one piece. The second is I think that like buying your users for a consumer app where you need scale is an awful strategy. So we haven't spent a dime to do that. I think Jeremy talked a little bit about it. Certainly we found this at Pandora, that the best applications grow via word of mouth. It's something you pull out your phone, the app is on your home screen, you show it to your friend or neighbor, and you walk them through the experience. And if you can't do that in 30 seconds, like your app will fail. And so our goal is to keep this as simple as possible. And go after like very narrow groups of consumers. So teachers, like young, educated, short on cash, savings for wedding, saving for summer months is a big problem for teachers. They're only paid monthly 10 months out of the year, so there's 2 months that they need to save up for in advance. So you see teachers playing this like left pocket, right pocket game, opening up a separate bank account to stash money away, right? This is this whole thing. Like, I'm going to need money for something. How do I effectively like escrow for that myself?
Awesome. All right. I know we're out of time. Thank you, Jackson. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much, judges. Kara, Alex, Hillary, Larry. We have bread and butter wine for you guys. Hold on.